Hello and welcome to the second video in this series on managing your time. Today we'll be looking at your typical working week and how best to organise it. Take an average day in your life. What time do you get up? Let's say for the sake of argument 7 a.m. So write on a piece of paper 7 a.m. and then below it 8, then 9 and so on until you have written down every hour that you're awake. Then think about each hour. What would you say is the main thing that happens in that hour? Maybe it's travelling to lectures or sitting in lectures, learning stuff. Or is it listening to music, eating, drinking, partying? Just pick out the main activity for each hour and write it down. Is that list organised or is it chaotic? Is there a common theme to each of those hours? Does one thing stick out more than all of the others? Is it working or is it partying? Imagine now that you've got a typical Monday to Friday 9 to 5 job. Think about how your day would run. Let's say you get up at 7, have an hour for breakfast and getting ready, then an hour's commute, just for the fun of it. Then let's work from 9 till say 12:30. Then lunch, work till 5, an hour's drive home, and then free time. Some people have a regular hobby or sport for the evenings, other people socialise. It doesn't really matter. It's time to fill as you wish. So in a way, the day is split into 3 main parts: sleep, work, and free time. Then 2 whole days off. It's a vague hand way we look at the default settings of a working week. What those hours of work involve, whether it's commuting or lunch, working on a computer, visiting clients, doing sales, it doesn't matter. It's set hours for working time. And outside of that time, you can do whatever you like: family, friends, hobbies, sports. It's a completely different life. Now, for people who run their own business, entrepreneurs and freelancers, they have the ability to change those hours to better suit their needs. Initially, they'll probably end up working far more hours, but the basics are the same: work life, home life, and sleep. You can start to build that work-life sequence that works best for you and fits in around your life. Now, if you think of being a student as being an entrepreneur, and this is the initial startup phase, then you too can choose your own hours. And in an informal way, you probably already are. You can have a lie-in whenever you want, go for a beer whenever you want, eat and drink and party whenever you want. But how effective is it to do whatever you want? The most successful students live their lives as if they were already in business. They work specific hours and they have specific time off. In fact, the reason that the majority of companies have a structured working week is because it works. So go back to your typical day. Is it a structured working day? Do you have a structured working week? The majority of what you spend your time doing is what will happen in your life. If you spend all day box setting, you're never going to get high grades. But if you spend all your day working without any downtime, you'll end up frazzled and stressed. So build a working day. And the great thing about being able to choose your own working day is that you build it exactly around you. You don't need to stick to office hours. You have the freedom to choose. Now, some of those hours will have been decided for you by your university. They call it contact time. It's your lecture timetable, and we can't change that. We can change the bits around them. So below this video is an Excel spreadsheet that you can use to start filling in your working week. Don't open it just yet. Let me just tell you a little bit about it first. It's called the default diary. And like the 9 to 5 week, you can still do other things. At work, you can take an afternoon off, go on holiday, or in the case of a student, maybe move to a revision timetable. And just like the 9 to 5, it's not about accounting for every minute. We're not prescribing what goes on in every minute. We're allocating time to do different activities. So firstly, add in that contact time, the lectures, the seminars, one-to-one sessions, and any other regular appointments that you have. And if you always go out drinking on a Thursday night, put that in too. Make sure it's realistic. University sports fixtures are also good to put in, but remember, we're not putting in every detail. So if your sports event includes travelling, playing, recovery, and probably a social afterwards, simply just block out that whole time as sport. We're keeping these sessions open and as wide as possible. So how about your morning routine? Are you a morning person or are you a night owl? Doesn't matter which. It is important to know when your own mind functions at its best. Would you rather spend hours struggling over an essay at 3 a.m. when actually you could probably do it in an hour the following morning, because that's when your mind works best. And as you can tell from that, I'm definitely a morning person. I get up at 7 every morning, even if I don't need to. I start my working day at the same time. I know that I don't work well in the evenings, so I stop at 6. But that still gives me 10 hours during the day where I can do work. I've got friends that will email me at 1 in the morning because that's when they're at their best. They won't get out of bed before 11. That works for them, and my timetable works for me. Now, even if your lectures are spread out, what can you do in between to make the most of your day? Go to the library and review your lectures. If you don't have an assignment due for a few days, don't take that time off. If you have the time scheduled into your diary to get on with writing assignments, then get on with it. Do it now while you do have the time, because you don't know what's around the corner. A last-minute piece of homework, a surprise exam. If you have the time to get on with any future work, do it now if it's scheduled in. Don't just box it. And by separating out your free time from your working time, it means that you're no longer writing an assignment with one eye on daytime TV. When you're working, you're working. And when you've scheduled your free time, you can catch up on TV, free in the knowledge that it's the right time to do so, and that you spent those earlier hours getting everything done that needed doing that day. So there's some examples of this on the spreadsheet that you can download, and it covers working throughout the day, but also having a break too, to fit in all of the administration that goes with life, buying birthday cards or going to the hairdressers, doing any paperwork that needs doing. So there's lots of different types of activity that can go on throughout the day, and feel free to use some of those examples, things to do if they fit in with your own life. Now, really important, schedule in some downtime, the fun stuff, catching up with friends, going to the gym, drinking, shopping, playing computer games. Whatever it is that you enjoy, make sure that you have time for it. But also schedule in some actual relaxation time, not staring at a screen, not competing with somebody. Whatever it is that you need for your own well-being, whether it's meditation, going for a really nice long walk, something that really shuts down your mind. Everybody is different. Everybody needs downtime and relaxation time, but the amount that you need and how you do it varies by person to person. You might only need half an hour a week. You might need an hour every day. It doesn't matter. It's your diary. And remember also, this is a default diary. You can change it, mix it up, go and visit family for a long weekend. But it helps, especially in those busy times when you've got something that you can fall back on. You don't need to stop thinking and working things out, which will do there for you. Schools, offices, companies, they all build their own diaries because it really does work. And the advantage of being a student is that you can really make your working week work for you. So join me in the final video of this series, where we'll be looking at how to prioritise when there is just too much to fit in to the working week. Bye for now.